Hey everybody, this is Steve, and everything needs a strong foundation. I was walking around the other day and passed a construction site where workers were putting up a new building. The workers were using big cranes to move massive steel beams into place. These steel beams are sort of like the bones of a building. Without them, the building would just collapse on itself. Our skeletons work the same way. Not to be gross, but if your bones all suddenly disappeared, you'd collapse into a big, squishy pile of stuff. People need skeletons to stand tall. Buildings need skeletons to stand up. So what's the skeleton of our daily life? What keeps each and every day, for us as Christians, from collapsing in on itself? We started this new season of Be the Bee with an episode on starting and keeping a prayer rule. And I know some of us are struggling with that, which is totally okay. I've struggled with my daily prayer more times than I can count. I feel guilty for all the times I've overslept and didn't spend time with God in the morning. I feel terrible for the nights that I got lazy and didn't offer a few minutes to God before bed. And maybe that's because my day lacks the right support. Maybe my day lacks the right skeleton, so it's just collapsing in on itself. Maybe I can give my day the right kind of support if I fill more moments with prayer. That's right, not even minutes, just moments. And we all have way more moments than we know what to do with. Think back to the last time you were spending time with friends or family. If there was a break in the conversation or just a moment of silence, you probably filled that moment with something. If you're anything like me, you probably reached for your phone. We do that hundreds of times a day without even thinking about it. And it's not just when we're with others. We grab our phones anywhere and everywhere. When we're waiting in line, when we're laying in bed, when we're in the bus or train or car. Some people even use their phones in the bathroom, and I'm just gonna go on record and say how gross that is, and if you do that, you should be ashamed of yourself. I think I just said doo-doo. We grab our phones without thinking just to fill some dead space during the day. But what if we helped bring that dead space to life? What if we transformed these empty moments during our days into moments that are full of the grace and presence of God? What if we used these moments to build a strong foundation of peace and prayer that carries us throughout the day? In Luke 17:21, Jesus tells us that the kingdom isn't so much a place, a here or there kind of reality. It's something that exists within us. That means that being in church or standing in front of our icons aren't the only times when the kingdom of heaven is present. In fact, every moment of every day can be filled with the reality and presence of God's kingdom if we reach out to Him and fill our hearts with His kingship in our lives. If we take a moment to make the potential that exists within us a reality, we can become the kind of people who truly live as citizens of the kingdom of God. We can be people who exist on earth as in heaven. Try it. The next time you're walking out the door in the morning, thank God for the blessing of a new day. The next time you're standing in line, thank God for all the wonderful things you have in your life. The next time something isn't going well, ask God to give you the patience and endurance to get through it. The next time you see a person struggling or in trouble, ask God to have mercy on them. Ask God to give you the courage and ability to help them in whatever way you can. I've noticed that when my day is full of small moments of prayer, it becomes that much easier to stick to my prayer rule. When I'm encountering God in the small moments throughout the day, it's easier to stand in front of my icons for morning or evening prayer. In fact, I even look forward to it because prayer isn't the exception to my day, but rather a constant throughout my day, something that gives me peace and joy throughout the day. I can stand tall as a Christian in prayer because I have a strong skeleton of prayer that's keeping me up. But building that skeleton is not going to come easy. We're going to have to make it a habit. And not only that, we're also going to have to break the bad habits we've developed for filling in those empty moments. We covered how to build good habits back in episode 143, and since we're trying to develop a habit of prayer, it's worth giving that video another look. If you missed it, go ahead and check it out.
I'll be here.
Here's a simple way to apply what you learned in episode 143 and in this video. Let's say you want to thank God for the blessing of a new day every time you walk out the door in the morning. As much as you might want to start that habit, it might be difficult to remember to pray when you're rushing out the door for school or work. But what if you place an icon of Christ right next to your door? That way, every time you get ready to head out, you'll have a visible reminder to pause and say thank you to God. We can also use a prayer rope as a small reminder to pray throughout the day. You can put one in places that you'd like to transform into opportunities for prayer. For example, some people place a prayer rope around the gear shifter in their car. That way, instead of turning on the radio or listening to music when they get into their car, they take a moment to be with God instead. But you don't need a car to do that. You can attach a prayer rope to the zipper of your backpack where you keep your phone or earbuds. You can keep a prayer rope in your pocket and reach for that rather than your phone when you have a free moment during the day. Your prayer rope can become a gentle reminder to offer a moment to God rather than scroll on your phone for hours at a time. If you're struggling with your daily prayer in the morning or the evening, that's okay. If you're struggling to offer even a few minutes of prayer every day, that's okay. You can start by focusing not on the minutes, but on the moments of prayer. Because we all have plenty of moments to spare. And what better moment to start than now? So let's be the bee and pray in the moment. Be the bee and live orthodoxy. Remember to like and subscribe and share. I'll see you all next week. Remember to subscribe to our channel and click on the little bell so you never miss an episode. And share this video with your friends and family as we all make our way to the Lord together. Thanks for watching, and God bless you.